Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Isya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramitamim Tasya Shrivarudevam Shrichaitanam Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupapadanam Swapadanam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamikantam Sajivam Sagaitam Sabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Ram Krishna Padan Sahagana Lavita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhi Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamani Hari Vanchakalpatam Nischa Kipasindhu Yairacha Patitanam Pavanabhim Vaishnavibhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna Padar Krishna Savitini Shrimati Prabhupada Kipriya Shri Girirajaya Swamini Suvatra Radharaspi Hallelujah Shakti Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Savitini Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shinivani Prasatari Shatavani Om Karoti Vachalam Pangham Langayati Vidyapitam Ham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Krishna. So we are reading Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The author is Adilila chapter 8. The author received the orders of Krishna and Guru. So we saw so there's obeisances in the beginning, and Chaitanya. So the glory of Panchtattva is explained. We have already studied that at large length in the previous chapters. Now, text 10, Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, unless people accept me, they will all be destroyed. Thus, the merciful Lord accepted the sannyas order. If a person offers obeisances to me, even due to accepting me only as an ordinary sannyasi, his material distresses will diminish and he will ultimately get liberation. One who does not show respect unto this merciful Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or does not worship him should be considered a demon, even if he is very much exalted in human society. So we have discussed all this. I want to remember this text well. So I'll just read it again. Text 12, I don't remember what we discussed last week. Text 12. Hena kripamai chaitanya na bhaje ye jana sarvottama haino tare asure ganana. One who does not show respect unto this merciful Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or does not worship him should be considered a demon, even if he is very much exalted in human society. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj says in this connection, all living entities simply engage yourself in Krishna consciousness. This is the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya preached this cult instructing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in his 8 verses of Shastra. And he said, Iha haite sarva siddhi haibe tomar. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will get all perfection in life. Therefore, one who does not show him respect or cannot appreciate his mercy, despite all these merciful gestures, is an asura or opponent of bona fide devotional service to Lord Vishnu, even though he may be very much exalted in human society. The word asura refers to one who is against devotional service to the Supreme Person of Godhead, Vishnu. It should be noted that unless one worships Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is useless to become a devotee of Krishna. And unless one worships Krishna, it is also useless to become a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such devotional service is to be understood to be a product of Kali Yuga. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks in this connection that atheist smartas or worshippers of the 5 of demigods worship Lord Vishnu for a little satisfaction in material success, but have no respect for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thinking him to be one of the ordinary living entities. They discriminate between Gaura Sundar and Shri Krishna. Such understanding is also demoniac and is again a conclusion of the Acharyas. Such a conclusion is a product of Kali Yuga. Now I remember we read this. Text 30. Ataiva puna kahon urdhva bahuhana Chaitanya Nityananda bhaja Uttarkacharya. Therefore I say again, lifting my arms, O fellow human beings, please worship Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda without false arguments. Because a person who performs Krishna Bhakti but doesn't understand Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda will simply waste his time. The author Krishna Das Kaviraj requests everyone to take the worship of Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu and the Panch Tattva. He assures everyone that any person who does so will be successful in Krishna consciousness. So as I mentioned last week, we have to go on everywhere telling all our congregation, Hare Krishna congregation devotees, please have Gonita in your house, and they don't want Gonita, they want straight Radha Krishna. So here, Krishna Das Kaviraj himself is saying, he's requesting everyone take the worship of Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Panchtattva. So at least we read in the previous verse, see, to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself is confidential knowledge. All right, we have read so many chapters on that. The confidential knowledge. So, but at least the external reason should be appreciated. If nothing else, previous verse says, Mahaprabhu said, Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, unless people accept me, they will all be destroyed. Thus, the merciful Lord accepted the sannyas order. If a person offers obeisances to me, even due to accepting me only as an ordinary sannyasi, his material distresses will diminish and he will ultimately get liberation. So what does that mean? It means that if you have faith in Gomitai, then you will follow his instructions. And what are his instructions is what Prabhupada has given to us. Chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 5 instruction, most important instruction, worshipping the deity, Mathuravas, and being in Satsanga. These are the 5 most important instruction that's been given to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Also said, Namaruchi, Jivadoya, and what else? I forgot. Yeah, Vaishnav Seva. All right. So one more, meaning that there should be Jiva Doya, meaning preaching. So we have added one to it. So these are the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if a person offers obeisances to me, not that, just putting the head down and then you don't care about the person. This we have seen many times. Like you think, oh, here's a senior devotee. How the person is senior? Maybe he joined 10 years before you. Maybe he's, those among those who people say they're the seniors, but they don't care a fig about cooperating in seva, right? So they are only offering official respect. So this is not how we worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If a person offers obeisances to me, here it doesn't mean that he's just offering official obeisances. Like all of our congregation come and offer respect to Gaunitai. But when we say, have Gaunitai at home, no. Right? They resist. They want Radha Krishna. So if a person offers obeisances to me, even due to accepting me, only as an ordinary sannyasi. So we have Prabhupada on our altar, right? Many of us, we like to have Prabhupada on our altar. We have Guru Parampara on our altar. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that even they accept me as an ordinary sannyasi, what will happen? His material distress will diminish. So is it by magic that they just offer obeisances? Is it by magic? Obeisances mean that we follow the instruction that I have just enumerated. 5 + 1. So his material distresses will diminish and he will ultimately get liberation, meaning he will move up slowly, slowly, slowly. He will move up. When we discuss how he can, so one who doesn't show respect unto his merciful Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or does not worship him, should be considered a demon, even if he's very much exalted in human society. Yeah. So there is a lot of among the Vaishnavas themselves, the brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj, he didn't accept Nityananda or somebody as the supreme, so his Krishnadas Kaviraj left him. Says this is a demon. Okay, text 13. Ittaiva punah pohon uruva bahu Chaitanya Nityananda Bhaja Uturka Charya. Therefore, I say again, lifting my arms, O fellow human beings, please worship Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda without false arguments. Purport. Because a person who performs Krishna Bhakti but doesn't understand Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda will simply waste his time. The author, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami requests everyone to take to the worship of Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu and the Panch Tattva. He assures everyone that any person who does so will be successful in Krishna consciousness. So if we have faith in Krishna Das Kaviraj, then we will accept Gaunita and the Panch Tattva and worship them. So if I would say, who may believe, some people may believe, some people may not believe. But here, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he's saying worship. Therefore, I again lifting my arms. Ata eva punah pohon udruva bahu hana. I lift up my arms. Please worship Sri Chaitanya Nityananda without false arguments. He has already spent, I don't know how many chapters and chapters and chapters to explain to us who is Sri Chaitanya. So now he's concluding. He's concluding worship. Go Nitai. यदि वा तार्किक कहे तर्क से प्रमाण, तर्कशास्त्र सिधाए से ज्ञान. Logicians say, unless one gains understanding through logic and argument, how can one decide upon a worshipable deity? All right. So, which deity to install in your home and worship? So, the logicians are saying, unless one gains understanding through logic and argument, how can one decide upon a worshipable deity? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Daya Karaha Vichar Vichara Karite Chitte Pabe Chamatkar. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. Chamatkar, the mercy of Shri Chaitanya. You know, like Panch Tattva in Mayapur. Who has seen the deities Panchtattva in Mayapur? You have seen? Rashmi? No, oh my God. When you're coming to India? When are you going to India?
In August.
In August. Okay, Shashi, you're going with her? Right?
I don't know.
God, you've missed more than half your life.
I had gone to Mayapur.
You went to Mayapur.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
see, so her life is complete. Now, Rashmi?
Went to Mayapur, had beautiful darshan.
Okay, so now in August when you come, don't go here and there, all right? Don't go to Jaipur, all right? Make your trip to Mayapur. You won't believe your eyes, isn't it, Shashi?
Yes, Mataji.
You won't believe your eyes,
I
right?
did. Yeah, right.
You won't believe your eyes, what you will see. Chamatkar.
Very beautiful darshan, Mataji.
So this Panch Tattva, all right? You've seen the pictures, no? Rashmi, you've seen the pictures, Panch Tattva. So they are more than life size. I think they're 7 feet or something, you know? And they are made of this ashtadhatu, right? So many different metals, right? So now, and they weigh tons, these deities. So when this sculptor was asked to make this deity of Panch Tattva, so he's from South India, he refused. He said he doesn't know who are Panch Tattva. All right? He said that, so they come in a line where they make deities only of who they know, the deities who they know. They have never heard of Panch Tattva. All right? So then Jayapataka Maharaj gave this sculpture a set of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he told him, you read this Shri Chaitanya, you know, Jayapataka Maharaj, he's a super empowered, he's an Avesh. As for Shu, he's an Avesh of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know? It's not a joke. He had so much faith in this Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can you imagine now? Is it easy to convince a South Indian who's a sculptor to just do, you know, deity? Right? Because he doesn't want to be caught. So this sculptor, he read the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? And then he said that, all right, he will do the deity. But you know what happened? He left the body. So he told his sons, right? He told the son, you make the deity as requested by Jayapataka Maharaj for his. So he studied completely this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So by understanding and then by conviction in his heart, then he made the 5 deities Panchtattva. And he had to get the exact understanding, exact posture, who they are, the mudras. So logicians say, unless one gains understanding through logic and argument, how can one decide upon a worshipable deity? Text 15. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Daya Karaha Vichara Karite Chitte Pave Chamatkar. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply to the mercy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. So this sculpture, he studied Chaitanya Charitamrita and he became convinced that this deity whom I have to carve, they are actually worshipping. Because he was not being asked to just, like people make a statue of themselves, right? They make a statue of themselves, a bust or something of themselves, right? He's not that type of person. He is somebody who will make deities that will be worshipped by the thousands and the millions. So he's taking on a huge, super huge responsibility. Logicians say, unless one gains understanding through logic and argument, how can one decide upon a worshipable deity? If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. Purport. Well, this is a very huge purport. Somebody has to read because my voice will run out. So read paragraph by paragraph. Who wants to read? Read.
I'll read, Mataji.
All right. Read slowly, because my mind works very slowly.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam. Purport.
Yeah, read.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. Purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in this connection that people in general, in their narrow-minded conception of life, create many different types of humanitarian activities. But the humanitarian activities inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are different. For logicians who want to accept only that which is proven through logic and argument, it is a fact that without logic and reason, there can be no question of accepting the absolute truth. Unfortunately, when such logicians take to this path without the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they remain on the platform of logic and argument and do not advance in spiritual life. However, if one is intelligent enough to apply his arguments and logic to the subtle understanding of the fundamental spiritual substance, he will be able to know that a poor fund of knowledge established on the basis of material logic cannot help one understand the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of imperfect senses. The Mahabharata therefore says, Achintya khalu ye bhavana tams tarkena yojayit. Mahabharata Bhishma Parva 5.22. How can that which is beyond the imagination of sensory speculation of mundane creatures be approached simply by logic? Logic and argument are very poor in spiritual strength and always imperfect when applied to spiritual understanding. By putting forward mundane logic, one frequently comes to the wrong conclusion regarding the absolute truth, and as a result of such a conclusion, one may fall down to accept a body like that of a jackal.
Okay, so now, so if we only try to understand Chichira Mahaprabhu by through mundane logic, right? We may not understand. Like yesterday was reading about Ashwatthama, right? So when Dronacharya was killed, so Ashwatthama went out to take revenge, all right? So what did he do now? He's a Brahmana, right? He's a Brahmana. So he's got weapons, special weapons. So one of his special weapon is the Narayan Astra. All right. So this Narayan Astra, so when he released it on the Pandavas, very, very, very instructive, this passage from Mahabharata. All right. Narayan Astra, to whom does this Astra belong to? To whom does it belong? This Narayan. Narayan. Can anybody counteract Narayan Astra? Is it possible? Right? Not even Lord Shiva could counteract the Narayan Astra. Right? So anybody knows what happened when Astra was released in the Pandavas? Anybody remembers what happened?
Mataji, then Krishna himself came and protected Parikshit. Is that
Parikshit? I'm speaking of Ashwatthama releasing the Narayan Astra on the battlefield of Mahabharata, of Kurukshetra against the Pandavas.
So Lord Krishna instructed Arjun to to release his Brahmastra.
Okay. So nobody remembers. All right. So what happened? I mean, I kept hearing the story in classes, but I forgot the details. So yesterday I was reading the whole story. So what happened? I'm sure when I tell you, all will remember. So when they were trying to counteract that Narayan Astra, the Narayan Astra was becoming even more powerful. So then Krishna says, you cannot fight this Narayan Astra. So what you should do, you have to tread the path of humility. What is that path of humility? You have to put down your weapons and you have to what? Lay flat on the ground. I say, what? Arjuna, my Gandiva bow, I will put it down. Right? Everybody, order was given. Everybody put down your weapons and just lay flat on the ground. And Bhima said, what? What? I'm going to lay down my weapon. So he stood on his chariot. And he was just fighting with this Narayan Astra. And the Narayan Astra made a complete circle of fire around him. And he was going to burn in it. Krishna and Arjuna ran on his chariot, pulled him down and put him flat on the ground. And what happened? That Narayan Astra went over their head. You remember the story now? Oh my God, I think everybody should read Mahabharata. So the Narayan Astra just went over their head and dissipated. And Ashwatthama, my point is about logic, okay? Ashvatthama could not believe it. He couldn't believe it. He said, I have released the Narayan Astra. Even Lord Shiva couldn't defeat Narayan. So how is it that these Pandavas, so he said, again, Krishna has counterfoiled, the whole plan. So what he did, Ashwatthama was so upset. He just left his chariot. He just started running into the forest. He was crying. Then on the way, he met Srila Vyasadeva. So he asked Srila Vyasadeva, how is it that Krishna and Arjuna, they are invincible? Why are they invincible? So then Vyasadeva said that Narayan, whose astra you have sent, belongs to Krishna, who is the supreme Vishnu. All right? I'm speaking of logic. All right? So Ashwatthama couldn't understand by his logic that who he's fighting with is Narayan himself. So until his logic changed, all right, and he understood, okay, so this Krishna is invincible, and therefore his devotees, the Pandavas, are invincible.
Mataji, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, another version is given. Here
No,
it
this
is saying,
is another story. This is another story. This is after the war. This is after the war. This is after the war, Kurukshetra. And then he was attacking Uttara's son, Parikshit. Then he released another astra.
That was a Brahmastra, no?
He knew how to read this, he didn't know how to remove. So I'm just making this point here. So Ashwatthama was totally bewildered. Just like here, we are not accepting Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, there, Ashwatthama, though face to Krishna, he couldn't understand who is this Krishna and why he was invincible. So Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared with another astra. All right, he didn't appear with Brahmastra, Narayan Astra, etc., etc. When he appeared with an astra, which was, I will read it again. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in this connection that people in general, in their narrow-minded conception of life, create many types of humanitarian activities. But the humanitarian activities inaugurated by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are different. So Mahaprabhu, his astra was humanitarian activities, but of a different type. What was his humanitarian activities? It is to give Krishna to the public, to humanity. He wasn't giving food, he wasn't giving clothes. These are things that we do, as a byproduct. If you have extra clothes, naturally you must give. You can't go on accumulating and increasing your wardrobe, right? Every year you have to open your wardrobe and give away whatever you're not using. This is natural. You have food, extra food, naturally you have to give. But this is not the real humanitarian activity that you're supposed to do. Your real humanitarian activity is to give Krishna consciousness. So for logicians who want to accept only that which is proven through logic and argument, is the fact that without logic and reason, there can be no question of accepting the absolute truth. Yes, you have to apply your logic in order to understand the absolute truth. And so I gave the example of Ashwatthama. He was having an experience with Krishna and Arjuna. He couldn't understand. How is it that this Narayan Astra, because he's a Brahmana, he has released the Narayan Astra. How is it that Krishna could counterfoil this? He couldn't make sense of it. So when by logic now, Vyasadeva said that Krishna is actually Narayan. So through his logic, so he has seen now. He didn't believe, he's been hearing. He didn't believe, now he has seen. All right. Unfortunately, when such logicians take to this path without the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they remain on the platform of logic and argument and advance in speed. Now, so when they start, tarka, is it tarka? Yeah. Tarka? Maybe tarka? What is that? Yeah, tarka se praman. Tarka, logic and argument, go on debating, is it true, is he God, this, we don't know. So, when they're actually not surrendering to Krishna. So last week we said, if you want to know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what do you have to do? You have to follow his instruction, you have to go door to door, you have to distribute books, you have to start Bhakti Diksha program, you have to do all in a practical way, then you will understand, oh yes, who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You start to understand him, you start to feel him in your life. If one is intelligent enough to apply his arguments and logic with a subtle understanding of the fundamental spiritual substance, he will be able to know that a full fund of knowledge established on the basis of material logic cannot help one understand the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of imperfect senses. And the most wonderful, extra wonderful thing, chamatkar, is that even though Ashwatthama saw with his own eyes that the Narayan Astra was counterfoiled by Krishna with a simple act, bow down. All right, just bow down. You can't be big Kshatriyas with all your ahankar and say, I'm going to fight you, right? He's saying, this is the time when you lay down your weapons, you lay flat on the ground. The path of humility huge humility for a Kshatriya. What logic is this? It's illogical, right? A Kshatriya, Krishna told Arjuna, pick up your Gandiva bow, right? Arjuna said, my Gandiva bow is slipping from my hand. Krishna said, stand up and fight. All right. Now Krishna is saying, lay flat. So weapons are of different substance. All right. Here it says, then what? What substance is it? Spiritual substance. Spiritual substance. All right. So you need to know when you're fighting, you need to know when to lay down your weapons and lie flat. All right, this is another lesson, side lesson. Oh, there's too much in this one paragraph.
Mataji, one question, Mataji.
Yeah.
So when Narayan actually attacks us, like you see the case of Bhishma also and Bali Maharaj, both were actually, attacked by Vishnu himself, right? Krishna himself. So they both surrendered. Bhishma also surrendered and Bali Maharaj also surrendered that time. So in a sense, Krishna is actually looking for surrender only. So if he beats us up also, we should just surrender, right? If we have to battle in this material world, all we should do is to surrender. Does it also mean that way?
Well, see, Mahaprabhu here is doing the, humanitarian activities. What is his humanitarian? He wants to fish us out of this material world, right? We are suffering here. See, we are so we're tiny. Atma is so tiny that it's almost like extinguished flame, right? Extinguished flame, meaning that it's like a dead. It's like the soul is practically dead. So what is alive is this huge ahankar that is flaming and keeping a body, growing, maintaining, dying, and again taking birth, growing. This is what's so alive, that the ahankar. So Krishna, he is talking through logic. He's talking through, I'm just giving the example of Ashwatthama. The thing is that even then, after seeing all this, again, he went back and fought with the Pandavas. Anyone with good sense, right? Only an Asura will do this. Right? He's a Brahman. He's a Brahman. Even after seeing Srila Vyasadeva is telling him, this is Krishna. He is this Narayan. Whose astra you're using? Again, he went back to fight against Krishna and Pandava, meaning, what is this? So, Bali Maharaj is very special that he could take the lesson. Bhishmadev was just playing a role. He's one of the Vasus, and he was playing a role. He had to show something. He's actually a bhakta, but he had to show when there is what we call niyamagraha. So the surrender is, it's like a handful, actually a handful to actually surrender. So I will put aside Bhishmadev, let's say Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj, yes, he was like an Asura, born of Asura family. Right, Bali Maharaj, he was born of Prahlad Maharaj, grandson, but Asura family. So he had all the samskar of Asuras. What do Asuras want? They want opulence. They go and conquer and capture somebody else's kingdom. So this is what he was doing. So then Vishnu came and chastised him and say, your place is elsewhere. So he put him down in Patalo. This is where you belong. You sit there until I will make you the next Indra. Then legitimately you can have that place. Krishna, when he deals with us, there is nothing straightforward in life. Nothing, absolutely nothing straightforward. Because we are so complicated. Each one of us, we are so complicated. And we can't just surrender. We read somewhere that, I don't know whether Bhagavatam or somewhere. So in Prabhupada is saying that, with Bali Maharaj, even though he knew he shouldn't do something like this, still he was doing it. So Krishna had to come and take it away from him. Right? He's so addicted. So all of us, each and every one of us, we are so addicted to our own anarthas, our own attachment. We are not able to give it up. So Krishna has to come and just pull us out. And how he does it is always tirha, never straightforward. Like straightforward was like how Krishna went to Dhritarashtra and said, give back the kingdom. That's straightforward. All right. It doesn't work. Did it work? Didn't work. So Krishna had to do all types of tirha work. and he snatched it away from the Kauravas. Isn't it? Whatever happens on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, these little tricks and all that happen in your own life. This is how Krishna gives you. So you will come out. And Krishna will do all these types of tricks. Like Bali Maharaj, what did he do? He became a dwarf. Right? Vishnu became a dwarf. Then what did he do? He went begging. Right? A beautiful, super beautiful Brahman dwarf. This is the meaning of Brahman. So beautiful that Bali Maharaj kept looking at him. He was simply captivated and mesmerized by this little boy. That was trickery. Teraha. Right? So this is how Krishna pulls us out from this horrible material world. All right, so it's 5:30. 1 hour is on one paragraph. Continue next week. Is it okay?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
All right, all right. So just remind me what we discussed next week. That was text 15 and the first paragraph. This thing about logic and argument.
Mataji.
Yes. All right. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I didn't want to continue because we'll spend another hour, looks like. So, so we'll just remember. All right. Anyways, Mahabharata stories are very interesting, isn't it? Whenever you pick up the book, you don't know what you'll find. Krishna. Krishna.